Hello, my name is Janine Getz, and I'm the Program Director for the Dietetic Internship at the University of Kansas Medical Center. We've created this video for those of you who may not have been able to attend our on-campus open house and who would like to learn more about our program. So during this video, I will provide an overview of our dietetic internship program, and then at the very end, if you'd like to learn more about the other programs that our department offers, I'll provide a few slides on those as well. So for those of you who have not visited the Kansas City area, we welcome you. It's a wonderful area that really has many different amenities. So there's lots of entertainment and sporting events, museums. We have wonderful food with wonderful restaurants, lots of barbecue. And we really are located right near the heart of downtown Kansas City. We are situated right on the state line between Kansas and Missouri, but the medical center is located in Kansas. One of the unique features about our dietetic internship is that we're situated within an academic medical center, and this really affords a lot of different opportunities. So the dietetics department is located within the School of Health Professions, and it's one of the largest in the nations. There's 8 different departments with many different academic programs. In a minute, I'm going to talk about that one of our program-specific concentrations is on interprofessional collaboration. And really the academic medical center setting lends us to be able to do this. So not only do we have students from other health professions, but we also have School of Nursing and School of Medicine students. And we do partner with the University of Kansas Hospital, who is a top performing academic medical center. So in terms of our dietetic internship program, our emphasis is in medical nutrition therapy. However, we really have an overall well-balanced program. So you'll be spending time not only in the clinical, but you'll get lots of experience within the community and management setting as well. Students that come to our program come to us about mid-August, and they complete the program at different times, but everyone completes by the end of July. So you're here for fall, spring, and summer semesters. During this time, you'll complete your 1,200 hours of supervised practice experience, and you'll complete 24 hours of graduate coursework. One of the benefits of our program is that you do have the option of then completing your master's degree. And so 14 of those 24 hours of graduate coursework will transfer into the master's degree. So essentially in 2 more semesters, staying for a fall and spring semester, you can complete both the dietetic internship and the master's program. Everything that we do during the program is really preparing you to sit for the RD exam. So when you come into our program, everyone takes a pre-test, and this is not meant to make you feel bad or anything of this nature, but simply just to see where are you, where do we need to work, what do you need to focus on throughout the year. We also throughout the year have lots of online quizzes, and then ultimately at the end of the program you will take a final examination, and so with that you have to score an 80% or higher, and if you don't, we just take more time to study and we retake. And so we really feel if you can complete our final examination, then you're prepared to go sit for the actual examination for registered dietitians. So supervised practice experiences, we have 4 rotations. Either in the fall or the spring, you will be completing your clinical nutrition rotation. So for the entire semester, you will be assigned to one hospital, but then you will rotate about every 2 weeks or so to a new specialty area, and you'll have one-on-one interaction with a preceptor. Then the opposite semester, you'll complete both your community nutrition and your food and nutrition management rotations. So about 240 hours each for those two rotations. And then in a minute, I'm going to talk a little bit more about, we have a summer practice area of interest rotation where you really help to design this, and that also is about 240 hours. So altogether, along with other activities that we do during the internship, you will easily accumulate your 1,200 hours of supervised practice experience. One of the unique features about our program, and one that many prospective students really like, as well as our current students continue to say that they really enjoyed and was what really helped them to select KU Med Center for their choice of internship, is that we do allow you to rank your preferences for rotation. So we don't have a set schedule that every single intern is going to go to specific sites. So what happens is every spring I survey the preceptors that we've had in the prior year, as well as looking for other sites that we think would be a good fit, and we come up with a list of what sites and how many interns are able to be accepted at these sites, and I provide you and say you are going to be completing your community and your food and nutrition management rotations. And for that time period, here are the facilities that are available. And then you will give me your top 3 choices for each of the rotations, and then I try to do my magic and make sure that everybody most certainly gets within those top 3 choices, but I try my best to give you your first or second choice. And certainly if you have sites that you're interested in that we don't currently have affiliation agreements, we welcome those suggestions, and we're happy to work to see if that site would be a good fit, if they can meet the needs, if they're qualified, and if so, if we can get an affiliation agreement. So on the right of this slide is just a list of some of the different sites that are available. If you'd like to know more information about this, I'd be happy to send you some of our more complete lists. But for clinical rotations, 6 of our students go here at KU Hospital. 4 of our students go to Children's Mercy Hospital, and I really try to reserve those spots for those students that really have a pediatric interest. A couple of our students go to the VA hospital, and then we have interns at St. Luke's on the Plaza, St. Luke's East, St. Luke's South, as well as Truman Medical Center. So those are our clinical nutrition sites. For food and nutrition management, we're in many of the public schools, KU dining services. We are at Children's Mercy and Crittenton Children's Hospital, as well as currently we're at Overland Park Regional and Menorah Medical Center. So there's many different choices that you can rank for your rotation. And then community, we always have a very long list of different places that are available. So for those interested in sports nutrition, we have KU Athletics, we have KU Weight Management, we're in many of the Hy-Vee grocery stores, Cerner, we're in WIC and the other health departments. The list goes on and on for the community rotations. We just added an eating disorder clinic, so I would again be happy to share a more extensive list with you if this is something that you're interested in. As I mentioned during the summer practice area of interest, this is a time that you really get to design your experience. So again, we're trying to tailor your experiences towards your interests. So for many of our students, they may know that they want to be a clinical dietitian and they want to spend the entire summer getting more experience in doing additional staff relief. Other students may have a passion that they know that they want to go do. So for instance, sports nutrition, and they want to go see additional areas within that field. There's also opportunity to do research for those that are more interested in starting their own private practice, learning more about entrepreneurship skills, and working with other dietitians that are working and having private practices. For our students interested in integrative nutrition, we also have many different opportunities, as well as I'll speak to. We have an Integrative Nutrition Award where that we can get you working in some of the clinics that are practicing from this focus. So really during the summer experience, it can be anything. It could be that you didn't feel that you met all of your competencies, and so therefore you need to go and do a couple more things to ensure that you really have that knowledge and skills. It could be that you just don't know what you want to do yet, and so you need to go out and see some additional things. So most of the time students will select 1 to 2 locations, but even going to 3 locations is possible. And another unique feature is that the summer practice area of interest can be completed anywhere. So it does not have to be here in the Kansas City area. So long as we're able to identify someplace and I'm able to deem that those individuals are qualified to have you as a student, and we're able to get an affiliation agreement, we can work with you to get something set up. During the summer practice area of interest, we've also had students that apply for the Robinson International Award, which is an award to go to Vellore, India. And this is an amazing experience. So there's several other health profession students that go as well during the summer. So generally it's from the beginning of June to July. And this experience counts for all of your summer practice area of interest hours. Wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Our students go to the Christian Medical College, which is a very large hospital. So half of the day is really spent doing clinical work, and then the other half is more community-based, mostly with diabetes. And so a lot of this is more observational because in Vellore they speak 7 different dialects, but there's other people there that are helping and interpreting for you, and the cultural experience is just wonderful. So what does a week look like in the life of our dietetic interns? Well, in fall and spring semesters, Monday you come to class all day, so from 9 to about 5. You do get a little break in the middle, but we do coursework on Mondays, and then Tuesday through Friday you're out at your supervised practice experience. So on average about 32 hours per week. Most of the rotations are pretty typical work hours, so 7 to 4, 8 to 5. Your preceptor will set these hours. There's a few rotations that might have some evening hours, or occasionally you might be able asked to work on maybe a health fair or something on the weekend, but by and large your hours will be between Tuesday and Friday. Then during the summer semester, to allow for that flexibility of the summer practice area of interest, we don't have any on-campus courses. You simply have the practicum course that you will take with me, which is an online course that accompanies the supervised practice experience. And so unless you're taking additional coursework for the master's program, the only thing during the summer that you'll need to come on campus for is to complete your final examination for the dietetic internship. So looking at our curriculum, during fall and spring semesters, we have a medical nutrition therapy course both semesters, and this is a great course to really help you to develop those M&T skills. So you always will have homework on the topic that you're going to be learning about that week, so that you come in very knowledgeable. You'll have a brief lecture, and then generally speaking, there's a case study to help you implement what was learned. We do a lot with simulation during the M&T courses as well. Both semesters you'll also have a management course. Fall is a lot more didactic work, and in the spring you work as groups to develop a project, which if you're familiar with the TV show Shark Tank, basically you're designing a cafe from the ground up. So doing a business plan and going through and doing your layout and your equipment purchasing and your staffing, your menu, your marketing. So applying everything that you've learned, and then you actually get to pitch your cafe idea to the sharks, and we pick a winner. And then seminar, you'll have one both in fall and spring, and that is really designed to really help you to understand research, to be able to look at a research article and really dissect that and understand what is being said, as well as to help with your public speaking skills. So during the first seminar, you'll take one research article and present on it, and during the second semester, we step that up a little bit. You'll take 3 research articles and synthesize your findings across those research articles. And then, so those are the on-campus courses that we have on Mondays. And then in the fall semester, you'll take a web-based international nutrition course, and in the spring, a U.S. public health course. And then during all 3 semesters, practicum is really an online course that again supplements that supervised practice experience. So every month we'll have discussion forums so that you can learn what other interns are doing at their sites, since not everyone goes to every site. It's a great way, particularly in the fall, for you to learn about the other sites so that when you go to rank your choices for the next semester, you'll have an idea of what you would like to do. We do a lot of the quizzes for the practice of the RD exam. We do some ethics stuff and some other little projects that we're not able to accomplish the competencies either through coursework or through your rotations. And so again, during that summer semester, simply taking the practicum course, and then for those who decide that they would like to continue with the master's program, many of them will go ahead and take additional coursework during that summer semester. So as I mentioned at the very beginning, we do a lot to promote interprofessional collaborations. And so again, being a part of the Academic Medical Center, we have a lot of opportunities for this. So all of our students at the Med Center will participate in an event called Team Steps. And during that, we really learn really what it is that all other health professions do, and begin to see how we can work together rather than working in a silo, how that we can work together to provide the best care for our patients. And you'll learn more about Team Steps communication tips and how that you can communicate together. During the semester that you do your clinical nutrition rotation, you will be also spending a couple days in our interprofessional teaching clinic and our geriatric interprofessional teaching clinic. You'll be working with other students from other disciplines. Together you'll go in as a team, interview the patient, come out and determine what it is that you're going to do to intervene, go back in and present that intervention, and then you'll come back out and you'll debrief with your team, talk about what went well, what you could have done better, and it's just a great time for you to really get in there, and you're the one in charge. You get to really take charge and show your skills. And so our dietetic internships really like the days that they get to work in these clinics. You'll also throughout the year 6 or 7 times be asked to work at our Jayhawk clinic, so providing care for those who don't have insurance, that are low income. This is a student-run organization. We work on diabetes night. We always have preceptors there to provide guidance to you, but again, you're going to be working with a team of students to provide care for those patients. And then you'll see that throughout our coursework, we have a lot where you're working with other disciplines to complete case studies and other assignments. We do have another concentration area within our M&T focus is dietetics and integrative medicine. So at the very end, I'll talk about we actually have a dietetics and integrative medicine certificate that can also be done in conjunction or just outside of the dietetic internship and the master's program. But during the internship, you'll be exposed to, we have 3 workshops that really shows you the basics. The end one culminates with bringing in many other dietitians from the community that are practicing, learning how it is, what they do, how they got started with their practice, and so you'll have some great exposure. We also offer a DEM award, which is similar to a fellowship that students can apply for during the fall semester of the internship program, and then we award that during the spring semester, and that provides a monetary stipend for you to travel to some continuing professional education types of events, or if you wanted to go work with a preceptor in another area to pay for your travel. But basically, if you are a DEM recipient, you also have to do this DIM certificate, but we will design your summer practice area of interest. So you'll spend 4 weeks in the Dietetics and Integrative clinic here at KU Med Center, and then for 2 weeks you'll spend with 2 other community dietitians, 2 weeks each, out in the community, and we work with you to figure out who would be the best person to work with there. We also, as I mentioned, do a lot with simulations. So at the bottom of the slide, you see a beautiful building. That's our new health education building. That's where many of our classes are. The top 2 floors there are all simulations. So it's just truly amazing, and we're finding more and more ways that we can incorporate this within our coursework. But this is certainly within our MNT course as well as others. There is a body composition training, so we have a DEXA, a BOD-POD, a PPOD. You'll learn about circumferences and skin fold assessments, and you'll get to practice on one another. We always try and go to the public policy workshops, so the Kansas Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics puts us on each year, and we go to Topeka, to the Capitol, and we have a wonderful session hearing from many different speakers, learning about reimbursement, how best to talk with the legislature, and so this is always a fun event. Another fun event that we have is the Beef Council puts on a media training day for us. So they bring in a wonderful speaker who has just tons of experience with interviewing and the media. And so in the morning, he provides some tips for if you were to do a media interview, how do you do that successfully? What are the not to do's? And we actually, each student gets up and they videotape a short media interview, and we all listen to that. We have fun together. We provide feedback. And then in the afternoon, we switch gears and we do a food demonstration. So they bring in lots of different food, and we again give tips on if you were to do a cooking demonstration on a television show, how do you go about doing that? What are some of the tips for doing that? And so each person gets to create their own little food demo. And again, we actually do this like it was a live show and give feedback. So while it may be a little bit intimidating, everyone agrees that this is a great experience, and it really is a fun day. The Dairy Council also provides us with a dairy farm tour, typically at the end of the year. So we go out and we learn about how does dairy products get to our table. And so there's some misinformation and some things out there. Consumers often have many questions regarding antibiotic use and growth hormone and things of this nature. And so we really hear from the farmers what it is that they're doing and kind of get to see really the amazing practice it is for them to actually get that dairy product to the table. We always encourage our students to attend conferences, so definitely our state and local conferences. These are some pictures of our students who went to FNC this year. This is always required. And in general, our interns are just a tight-knit group of individuals that really have fun together, and it's really exciting to see the bonds that form. So in July, our students finish up the Dietetic Internship, and so once everything is complete, so you've done all of your coursework, your 1,200 hours of supervised practice experience, you've gotten positive feedback on all of your evaluations, and you've completed that final examination, you will receive a graduate certificate for completing the Dietetic Internship program, and more importantly, you're going to get that verification statement, and so that's going to allow you to go and sit for the registration exam. So we highly encourage our students, particularly those that are continuing into year 2 with the master's program, to take that exam as soon as possible. So many of our students, the first or second week of August, they're able to take that exam, but definitely by mid-September, having that out of the way. When you're starting to take additional coursework for the master's, it becomes a lot to juggle studying for the exam as well as your coursework. We're very proud of our RD exam pass rate. rate. So in the past 5 years, we have a 97.5 first-time pass rate, and we have a long-standing history of 100% pass within the first year of attempt. And we have a high retention rate as well. If you start a program, we work very hard to make sure that you complete the program. And so while not in our numbers because I don't have official scores, we're very proud that our class that just graduated this summer have all taken the exam and passed on their first attempt. So in terms of application process, you're probably learning all about the die-cast system right now. So as of December 1st, the portal is open and you can begin submitting your application materials. Once that I see that you have submitted an application in die-cast, then I will send you an email with additional information for how you will submit the graduate application to KU Med Center. And so there is a $75 application fee. This does not have to be done by February 15th, so you have until March 15th to complete that step. If you don't complete the step, we unfortunately cannot rank you, so please make sure that you don't miss that step. And then the third step, also please make sure that you don't forget to do, is to go into D&D Digital and rank your choices so that we can also rank you. So in terms of program cost, you'll see some of the different things, and you'll see a column for Kansas resident and then non-resident. So many of these fields are estimated by our financial aid department, and so the top two rows are the tuition and the fees, and so you'll see there for both the Kansas resident and the non-resident. The bottom two rows for background check and drug screen and the A&D membership, so we do require student membership in the academy, excuse me, those are also actual fees. But then the ones in the middle there, those are estimates from financial aid. So we really don't have too many books, and we reuse them throughout. So for M&T, you'll have one book that's actually used then in year 2, and in management, you'll use the same books. There's some smaller books, but unless you need a new computer or something, you won't have $1,300 in books and supplies. Room and board, again, estimated. That greatly varies by where you're going to live in Kansas City, if you're going to have a roommate, how nice of an apartment or house that you're going to live in, but that also includes utilities and everything for cost of living. So you can adjust that accordingly. If you match the program, we will send you out information from past students giving you ideas of places to live and some tips that they have, as well as there's a housing match site that the university has as well. Personal items, anywhere that you go, you're probably going to have these types of things. We don't require conference registration, but we do, again, encourage you to attend definitely the local and the state conferences, so you may have some costs with that. And then again, just an estimate on the transportation from financial aid. This is going to vary depending upon where you live and where your sites are. Some of our students will pick their sites based on proximity to where they live to be able to help with that cost as well. So one of the important things that I'm sure you're interested in is what we're looking for in our applicants. So we really are looking for that well-rounded individual. We do have kind of an emphasis on the academic performance. So you'll see on kind of, if you're thinking on a 100-point scale, this is how we distribute. So 30 of the points would go for academic performance. So half of that is for your cumulative GPA. So that's for all coursework that you have completed, and then the other half is going to be related to your DPD professional GPA, so that and the science score. So we try, and for those that maybe didn't start off so great, we try and give them a break on the cumulative by looking more at the professional GPA as well. KU Med Center has a minimum cumulative GPA requirement of 3.0 for submitting your application. We do require the GRE because it's a graduate program. There's no minimum score required, and we use a percentile rank to be able to determine the scoring. So you'll receive for the GRE 30 points. So we look at, for instance, on verbal, if you got a 70%, you would get 7 out of 10 points for that section of the exam, and we do that for each of the 3 components. You can retake the GRE, and you can't hurt yourself. I'll take your top score from any of those and kind of cherry pick your scores for each of the sections. We also look at your work and volunteer experience. This specifically needs to be related to dietetics. Excuse me. So 15% will come from that. It can be either work or volunteer. The only thing that we don't take is if it's completed as part of your coursework. So if you have any concerns as to whether that we will know that it's related to dietetics. So for instance, if you're a waitress, be sure if you have actual food, more the food service aspect and some duties related to more the food safety types of things, please be sure to include that so that we can see the connection to dietetics. We also look at leadership, and so we're looking at, have you sat on any committees or boards? Any merit-based scholarships? Are you on an honor society? So honor roll does not count, but honor societies. Anything like that, if you don't think, again, that it's clear that something that you did had a leadership role, be sure to explain that, and also I would put that in your personal statement. So again, your personal statement, so we're really looking to see your personality come out, what separates you. We want to see your passion. Be sure that you're answering all of those DICAS questions as well. And then the last part comes from your recommendation letters. So we do take 16 interns. We're just a part of the spring match, so the fall start dates, and all of our students come from outside of the University of Kansas because we do not have a DPD program here at Kansas. So our students really do come from all over. In terms of past applications, our average GPA is about a 3.7 for our incoming interns. We take usually 50 to 60 applications each year. Again, we're taking 16 interns. And then a really nice feature is that if you do match to the dietetics internship, you're automatically admitted to the master's program. So there's not a separate application once you get into the program. And so what this does, it allows you to be, if you're degree seeking, it allows you to be eligible for financial aid during the internship program. It allows more hours to transfer. So if you weren't a degree seeking student, you could only transfer 6 hours into the master's, whereas you will have 14 hours to transfer. And then during year 2, it also allows you to be eligible for GTA or GRA positions, which also allows for some tuition reduction or waiver. If you don't match and you really think that KU Med Center is a great match for you, don't be upset. Let's look for other alternatives, and that is doing the program in reverse. So you can apply for the master's program and start that in the fall. If you take 9 credit hours, I can then take, so long as you do well, I can take those hours for your cumulative and replace your undergraduate cumulative. And so in a lot of times that will help to improve your application. I also will help you look at your application and find areas where maybe you didn't score as favorably and talk about some ways that you can improve that aspect of your application. And then in February of the next year, you will go ahead and reapply for the internship. We hope it works out well. And then you would just complete the internship during the second year. So you basically just do it in flip-flop. So whereas if you do it the traditional way, internship then master's program, you finish up in May. If you do it flip-flop, you finish up in July. But still roughly 2 years, you're able to complete both the internship and the master's program. So Rock Chalk Jayhawk, we hope that you will consider coming and joining us. We're looking looking for bright, enthusiastic students that want to come study, practice, conduct research with us, really learn evidence-based nutritional care, and really to help promote optimal health, not only in Kansas, but the U.S. and abroad. So please consider coming and joining us and being the class of 2019. So if you have any questions, here is my contact information, and I welcome you to email or call me. We can certainly set up, if you're able to come to campus, I can set up an individual campus visit for you where we can come in and I can share more, answer your questions, take you on a tour, introduce you to students, and you can talk with some of the current or former interns, or if it's better to do a phone call, I'm happy to do that as well, or simply answering your questions by email. For those of you who are interested in hearing about our other programs, I'll just real quickly run through these as well. So I've mentioned a little bit our Masters of Science program. So why should you consider this? And I think it's really because it really does expand your employment opportunities. So it just gives you more that increased scope of practice. You're exposed to more. Our students talk about that they really just have a better appreciation. They understand research. They understand evidence-based recommendations, and they just feel much more confident in their ability and their skills when they leave with a master's program. It does lend itself to potentially higher salary, and it can be a step to a doctoral program if this is something of interest to you. I'm sure that you're aware of the requirements that in 2024 that the entry level will be a graduate degree. So while you will be grandfathered in, everyone that you will be competing against in the job market will have a master's degree. So if you're completing your internship with us, you already have 14 of those 30 or 33 credit hours that are required for the master's program. You're about halfway there. So in 2 semesters, we really encourage you, as it says at the bottom, it's really easier to continue forward than to say, well, I'll come back and finish. You do have 7 years to finish the program, but once you get out there in the real world and you're practicing, it does become a little bit harder to be able to finish up. So what our curriculum looks like, so everyone takes macronutrients and micronutrients. You finish up the seminar series with the last one here, DN 819, which is scientific writing. That's an online course. We take research methods and a statistics course, and then you will choose if you want to do a thesis or a non-thesis option. And so if you choose to do the thesis, it's a little bit more work, and so therefore we give you a little bit of a break so you don't have to take an additional elective, whereas the non-thesis then would have 3 hours of elective that they need to complete. And so if you were interested in our program and not doing the internship, these are the electives so these transfer in from the internship, but if you were just doing the master's program, then you would have electives to do as well. So the differences between thesis and non-thesis, so really with a thesis, we're really hoping so that you can see really the full spectrum of the research process, whereas the non-thesis is just kind of a slice of it. So you're just going to have one little particular role. In the thesis, hopefully, ideally, you're involved with maybe even human subjects committee or the IRB approval with recruitment, actually if there's an intervention, delivering that, collecting data, and then analyzing the data. Whereas perhaps on the non-thesis you're jumping into a project and for instance, let's say that you hope to gain skills collecting and assessing dietary information. So you may come up with a secondary question for a research project based on the data that are available, help collect maybe 24-hour recalls, enter those into a nutrient database system, and then we'll help you to analyze that and answer your research question. So the non-thesis project is really a 100-hour project, whereas the thesis just continues until you're able to complete what it is to answer your research questions. Typically the thesis you take 1 credit hour across 3 semesters. The non-thesis can be split up, but it can also, all 3 hours can be pretty easily accomplished within 1 semester. For each of these, the thesis and the non-thesis, you will have a proposal where you'll write up a document. The non-thesis is much more brief than what the thesis is. You actually write several of your chapters for the thesis, and you will then present to your committee. Then you go out and you do your project, and then both will have a final defense. And so you just add to what you've done for the proposal and tell what you've done and what you found. And then everyone has a final oral examination. These can be questions about anything that we feel a master's level RD should be able to respond to. And so again, we give you a little bit of a break with the extra work that you do with the thesis. This is only 30 minutes and the non-thesis is an hour. As I mentioned, there are graduate assistantships available during year 2. So with a research assistant, what you're doing is you're likely working on a research project. So collecting data, helping to recruit subjects, things of this nature. So you'll receive an hourly wage, and then you would get, for those of you that are out of state, then it would pay in-state. And some of the research grants actually do pay tuition. And for both the GRA and the GTA positions, they're generally about 16 hours per week. Some go up to 20. The GTA is more educational support, a little bit of teaching or grading. And so again, you'll get an hourly rate. And then we try to reserve these for our in-state students because it allows for tuition reduction, which in many cases equals waiving of tuition. And so if you are an out-of-state student and you did a GTA position, again, it would bring your rate for tuition to in-state. Another option we have for students that complete the internship that would like to finish up the master's program but maybe need to go out and work full-time, or that need to move out of the area. We are a member of the Great Plains program. So this is an online master's program in dietetics and nutrition, and this is a consortium of 8 different universities. And so you can see over to the right the universities that are a part of this consortium. It's a 36-hour Master of Science in Dietetics, and so what happens is that you would enroll with us as your home institution. So your degree will come from KU just as it would from the on-campus, but you would be able to take courses from any of the 8 different universities that are providing the coursework. And for the Great Plains program, whereas 14 of your hours transfer during the on-campus program, unfortunately we lose a couple, but you still get 12 of your hours that will transfer in from the internship program. So you have a third of your degree. And this is a wonderful opportunity for someone who needs to maybe take it at a slower pace, maybe just take a course at per semester, and maybe go out and get a full-time job. So I think I covered this, but yeah, so it allows you to relocate, and there is a standard tuition rate. So it's kind of in between our in-state and out-of-state rates. So regardless of which of those universities you take a course from, there is a standard tuition rate. So currently $545, and I believe it's going to $565 per credit hour. And we both have the non-thesis and the thesis option as well, available through Great Plains. We also have a PhD program in medical nutrition science, and it really is integrating nutrition, biochemistry, biostats, and research methodology. It is really kind of interdisciplinary. A lot of the committees have many different faculty from all over campus to really ensure that we have the experts to be able to help that student. Generally, we have about 7 to 10 PhD students in our program at a time, and we do have many students that will do the internship, finish the master's program. When you do that, you have most of the coursework actually for the PhD completed, and then in about 2 years then you can finish up your PhD. So mostly it's just conducting your research at that point. And so We also have a Dietetics and Integrative Medicine graduate certificate, and so anybody can apply for this. You don't have to be part of our master's program. It is completely online, so that others not in the area can take advantage of this opportunity. It's 12 credit hours, and with integrative medicine, we're really looking at that whole person and looking at the root causes of why they may be having conditions and things of this nature. And so looking at lifestyle, biochemical, individuality, and the environment. And so, on an initial assessment with someone in this nature, it might take 2 hours to really get at all of the information that's necessary. And so this certificate program is designed to really give you this experience. So here's a list of the different courses. If you do the master's program and you do the non-thesis option, you actually can kind of double dip and count the supplements course as both your elective and as part of the integrative. So you just have 9 more credit hours. So each of these, there's one course offered per semester. So you take one course per semester. So most begin in the summer after their internship. And then, or at the very end of their internship, then they'll take one in the fall, the spring. They'll graduate with the MS in the spring, and then they just have one more during the summer semester. And again, it's online. But even if you decide not to do the internship, this is a wonderful opportunity that we have available. There's very few programs that are available in the United States. So if any of these other programs interest you, please feel free to reach out to the program directors that I have listed on this site. They'd be more, this page, they'd be more than happy to answer any questions, provide more information, because I just briefly touched upon each of these programs. So again, we thank you for listening, and hopefully I've answered some of the questions that you have about our program, and I welcome you to contact me in the future. Thank you, and have a great day.